Well, Desmond, you've spent a lot of time, looking at this game this week.
Yeah.
What do you see as what could be the deciding factor tomorrow? Well, what is the key?
I think typically in this matchup, it's a special teams play. I think that's what's going to come down to. You got the two highest scoring offenses in the nation, two highly productive quarterbacks. Obviously, that guy right there, McSorley, is battle tested in these games. This is going to be Dwayne Haskins' first go around a game of this magnitude, an atmosphere like this. But I just expect it to be, man, something like some sort of special teams play that can make the difference. So that's kind of what I'm looking forward to at this point.
Desmond, could this year be third time the charm for Penn State to make the playoffs? Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of football left. Yeah, I mean, obviously, can they? Yeah, can Ohio State make it? There's a bunch of teams who are in the running at this point, so I wouldn't say that they can't. Winning tomorrow night would be huge for them. So, I mean, yeah, they're in the mix, no doubt about it, yeah.
Trey, you mentioned Trace. 2 years ago, the 2016 Ohio State came to now where you've seen him go most.
Well, I think first and foremost his confidence. I think right now he's a guy who's playing with extreme confidence. He's a leader. He's the guy who everyone else looks for his type of leadership. I think he's very gritty. Just a guy who, you want to go into battle with him. I mean, like I say, he's battle tested. He's proven, and he has the respect of not only his teammates but his the opposing team. Defensive coordinators and everyone else who has to play against him. I think now, they highly respect him.
For somebody on Miles, so many great venues, where does the whiteout for a Penn State game rank in your mind?
It's high. It's very high. It's one of the best atmospheres in college football. When did you guys start this? How did it come about? Anybody know the history of the whiteout?
05.
05?
Ohio State.
Ohio State?
It was Ohio State versus Penn State.
And after that, it just kept it going, huh? Yeah, it's just a tremendous atmosphere. It really is one of the best. I mean, at nighttime and just that whiteout, I mean, that was a brilliant idea, and it's been magnificent.
Yeah. Do you get immune to big time college football atmospheres, or is it hard?
I played
to
in the Super
impress
Bowl,
you?
my man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I'm just saying. That's cute.
Des, is Ohio State and Penn State the Big Ten's new premier rivalry or matchup, given the way the last couple of years have gone?
I don't know. There's been some big games with Penn State and Michigan State. There's been some big games with Ohio State and Michigan State. So, I mean, it's definitely one of the big matchups in the conference. There's no doubt about that. It's huge. And with the college football playoff implications, too, that makes it even bigger. Yeah.
Des, what's impressed you about Miles Sanders?
Just being himself. I think sometimes when you have a guy who has to step into the shoes of one of the best running backs that we've seen in college football, it's hard to just be yourself. Think people have expectations because of the guy who you're replacing. But I think he runs hard, really good vision. I think he's patient, and he has a good feel for the position. So I really like what I see out of Sanders. I mean, he's really, he's going to be tested tomorrow, but he may have an opportunity to break a big one. They don't have Nick Bosa, and even when they had Nick Bosa, I saw them give up chunk plays in the running game. Guy running back at Oregon State, he had 2 touchdown runs, both over 70 yards. TCU's running back had a touchdown run over 90 yards against the Buckeyes defense. So, I think he's going to get his opportunities tomorrow night.
Des, with a relatively younger quarterback like Dwayne Haskins for Ohio State, what do you think he has to prove tomorrow night?
He has to prove he can handle this atmosphere. I think, I don't care what it's not about his age, it's more about his inexperience. And, obviously they had the neutral site, quote unquote neutral site game against TCU, but anyone who watched that game, anyone who was there, it was almost a home game for Ohio State because the Buckeyes, they travel so well. I think they had probably 70% of the stadium. So that's not going to be the case, I don't think, with the whiteout. So it's going to be a different atmosphere, and see if he can handle it.
KJ Hamler has caught a lot of attention early in his career, kick returner and receiver.
Yeah.
A chance to kind of evaluate him a little bit.
Yeah, actually I spoke about him this morning on SportsCenter. I think he's a guy who can be an X factor, averaging over 31 yards per return. He's had some big returns, and when you look at two offenses, when both of them are scoring over 50 points a game, you start to try to split hairs and see what can be the difference. And what can be the difference is field position. and things of that nature. So that's when Hamler comes into play, DeAndre Tompkins comes into play, guys in special teams. That's what I said earlier. Special teams will probably have a very important role. And the thing about Urban Meyer, he's one of those head coaches who loves to put his hands into the special teams. Like, that's like his baby. So I want to see how he handles that. Like, is he going to kick the ball to these guys? Is he going to kick away from them? That's going to be like, that's when the chess match really starts. So he's good. I think he could be a player. And this obviously as a receiver too, averaging I think just under maybe 19 yards a catch. Not a bunch of catches, but if he get the important catches, keep the chains moving, things of that nature. So I think he can be a X factor in tomorrow night's game.
A more general question, but with great old QBs such as like Will Greer, the guy out in Oregon, and even Trace, and then the backups with like at Clemson and Alabama, and then obviously the starters are really good, and Dwayne Haskins is really good. How would you say this quarterback year is compared to years you've seen in the past?
Wow, it's a very unique quarterback year because a lot of guys with a lot of wins are being replaced, and I don't remember seeing this, ever in college football. And they're being replaced by some young cats, either freshmen or sophomores. So it's a very unique year for the quarterback in college football.
Why has it worked for James Franklin not only here but at Vanderbilt?
From my understanding, the players really buy into what he's selling them. They're sipping the Kool-Aid. And I think that's always first and foremost. Once you can get the players to buy into what you're selling, and then I think you give yourself as a new coach in any environment a fair shot to succeed. And from my understanding, like the players, they really rally around Coach Franklin. They really love this guy. They believe that he loves them. So I think that's first and foremost why he's been successful thus far.
Two more.
Do you think that Penn State's receiving core is due for a breakout game this year?
Do I think they're due for a breakout game this year? I guess it depends on what's your definition of a breakout game. Like, how many yards receiving do they have to have? How many touchdowns? I think, what's your definition of a breakout game?
Like Jawan Johnson,
Yeah.
who came in pretty highly touted in the year and has had production, but not to the level that we think that he can. Do you think that this could be a game that he really steps up in that production?
Well, let me put it to you like this. When you play for a team with a lot of talent around you, then what you have to do is be selfless. And I think it's not about the numbers, it's more about the productivity to help your team win. So people are talking about Bryce Love at Stanford, this kid's running back, runner-up for the Heisman a year ago. Why aren't his numbers the same way they were a year ago? Well, defenses now, they scheme against him. So now his quarterback, KJ Costello, JJ Arrega, Whiteside, the wideout, and these tight ends, they have to go out there and do what they have to do to win the game. So you can still affect the game in other ways, even though your numbers aren't what people think they should be. Because at the end of the day, when you play like with Penn State and James Franklin, and you're going up against Ohio State, you want to get that W. You have to be selfless, and the numbers will come, the stats will come. But if they're taking that away, then that's when Sanders is able to do his thing. That's when McSorley is able to run the ball so much more now. So it's all about getting those W's. And believe me, man, if those guys only have a few catches for less than 100 yards, but they beat the Buckeyes, they'll be out celebrating tomorrow night.
Last one. Anyone?
What is it about game day that has made it so popular with staying power and that you can attract these big crowds when you do go on-site location?
To be completely honest with you, I think it's the chemistry because I tell people all the time, like, we genuinely like each other, like the four guys who you see up there on the desk and everyone else who comes up there, like, we get along, we genuinely like each other, and I think that comes across to our audience, and they respect that and they appreciate it, and it means a lot to us. It really, like, this sport means a lot. We put a whole bunch of hours into making sure that we give our audience and our fans, the best product that we possibly can.
Perfect.
You guys have been fantastic. Hey, good luck tomorrow night, and have a good time, okay? Be safe. Be safe. Just pace yourself. It's a long day tomorrow. It's a long day. Pace yourself. Which one to go?